Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making those fudgy crinkly cookies. You know, the ones that look like the surface of Mars, but they're covered in confectionery sugar and there's cracks and crinkles and they're fudgy and they're yummy. We're gonna make them. We are gonna make them and they're super easy to make. If you notice, I don't even have an electric mixer. No, not today, but they do need to be chilled. So before we get started, I'd like you to click that notification button because I want you to become a subscriber. I don't want you to miss any of my tips or videos because they are so cool and I love having you in my kitchen. So, fudgy crinkle cookies. They're a molded cookie, so you're going to make a dough. It's going to be soft. We're going to put it into a bowl. We're going to cover it with plastic wrap and chill it until it gets firm. And then we're going to take an ice cream scooper and make scoopers full and roll them in balls. And then we're going to roll them in sugar. And I'm going to give you a tip to make them even extra crackly. All right, so let's get going. All right, so in this bowl and over a double boiler, I have melted 6 ounces or 6 squares of unsweetened chocolate. Unsweetened. You don't want sweetened chocolate, semi-sweet chocolate, unsweetened. It always comes in those blocks. So you want 6 ounces of that, and you want 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter. You can use oil if you want. You can use coconut oil, any type of oil you want. You just want to melt them together until there's no lumps or bumps, and it's sort of lukewarm. It's not super hot. Now in a big bowl, I have 2¼ cups of granulated sugar. This is going to make quite a bit of cookies because we love them and they never stay in the kitchen long enough. So I got to make a big batch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 5 eggs, large eggs, and right into the sugar. And you don't want to do that until you're really ready to get going and mix, because eggs and sugar sometimes can do funky things. Sometimes the eggs get sort of sucked dry by the sugar. The sugar is known as a hygroscopic substance, hygroscopic, and it will actually suck any moisture out of the egg and you'll see clumps. So you don't want them to sit around too long. A tablespoon of pure vanilla extract. Always the good stuff, and you want to whisk that up. And I'm going to go grab another whisk in a minute, but we're going to whisk that up. Okay, use your muscle power. Use your muscle power. Get those biceps and triceps worked. And just get that going. You don't need to dissolve anything. You just need to combine them very well. So I sometimes rotate the bowl a little, get up the sides. I'm going to go grab another whisk. And I'm going to put this aside for a second. We're getting all our mise en place. We're getting our dry ingredients, we're getting our wet ingredients, and then we combine. So in this bowl, I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and I have a tablespoon of baking powder. All right, double-acting baking powder. And this is really one of the most important steps. It looks silly, but actually whisking this together, sometimes I just use my hands to whisk it together to combine. You really want to get the baking powder, your chemical leavener, completely blended in with your flour, because you don't want any cookies that are not rising. You want them to spread properly. You want the crackly, crusty outside. You want to form all that really well. All right, so we're done with that. So I set my dry ingredients aside. I bring my eggs and my sugar and vanilla back. And now I'm going to add my, it's not cooled, but it's lukewarm, chocolate and butter mixture. And when you melt this over a double boiler, you never want to let that hot water touch the bottom of this bowl. You don't want to do that because you might scorch your chocolate. And we don't like scorched chocolate. Who wants that, right? Ew. So once you have this, you're just going to mix this in. Ooh, look how dark and chocolatey that I love that. Look how dark and chocolatey it looks. Love it. Get that whisked in. And then we're going to put our whisk down and we're going to put our flour and our baking powder in. Okay? And you'll see this mixture, it will actually change texture. It sort of gets a little bit thicker because things happen when you mix eggs and chocolate, the chocolate will change a little bit of its texture when you mix in other things like eggs and stuff like that. All right, so here's our flour mixture. Just going to get that in gradually. All right, and I'm going to actually put my dough back in here to cover it and chill it. So you're just going to fold this in, and it should look like a dough, but it needs chilling. Remember, you don't want to bake this right now. You won't get as many crackles if you bake it now. You may not get any crackles if you bake it now. So make sure you chill it first. And the harder it is, the better. So I don't know, I'd say 3 or 4 hours, depending on how cold your refrigerator is. You can even leave them overnight, the dough overnight. You can even freeze it. Like wrap it in a Ziploc bag in plastic wrap and put it in your freezer and date it and label it, because you don't want to go back in 6 months and say, what is this? And then you can thaw it in the fridge, and then you can make your cookies another time. Like if you felt like making this now for Christmas, you could. You could. See how this is a dough now, and it looks like, why, Chef Gail Sokol, it looks like it's perfectly fine to bake. It's not for crinkle cookies. We need them chilled. So I have some flour on the bottom. I'm going to flip it up. Oh, now we got a beautiful dough. Now we have a beautiful dough. I like you. I like this dough. Make sure you see how there's a little bit of flour there. You want to make sure you get that incorporated in. And then you're going to put it in a smaller bowl because this is a big bowl. And to fit this in a fridge with other things, other necessities that a refrigerator needs is hard. So I'm going to put this lusciousness, looks like the Blob in that movie that I used to be afraid of when I was a kid. Oh, remember that? I used to love that. Well, that's dating me. You could probably look at it on a movie channel or somewhere. I think it was called The Blob. Every kid in America checked their socks. They checked their closet floor. They checked under their bed because this could have been under it. But it wasn't cookie dough. It was a very nasty, nefarious thing. I don't remember what it did. We were just so scared of it. I don't know. So now, what I'm going to do right now, cover it with plastic wrap in the fridge. See you back. So my Fudgy Crinkle cookie dough is nice and hard and firm. It's been in the fridge for about 4 hours. You can even leave it overnight. And I like them big. I like them big. If you like them little, you can make them little. But I like them big. So I'm going to be using almost like a 1/4 cup measuring cup. If you don't have an ice cream scoop, that's 2 ounces. And I'm going to take almost the full amount. I'm not taking the complete full amount, but about like that. And I'm going to roll them into balls. And again, I want you to have a flat bowl with granulated sugar and another flat bowl with confectioner's sugar. So roll them first in the granulated sugar because this sort of helps the confectioner's sugar stick to it, and it also makes cracklier inside because of that granulated sugar almost caramelizing in the oven. And then you're going to really roll this thing up. It should look like a snowball in winter. And then you're going to put it on a sheet pan that's lined with parchment paper. I have preheated my oven to 375. They're going to bake for about 14 to 16 minutes, and they're going to be very fudgy when they come out. You're going to let them cool, and they're going to almost be like crackly brownies, like crackly brownie cookies. And they almost look like what I would picture the surface of Mars to look like. I'd be eating my way through the surface of Mars if I could. So again, roll it, roll them in the other type of sugar, and they come out so beautifully crackled. It's almost like artwork. It's really, really pretty. And you're going to keep them about 2 inches apart. All right. I'm going to keep going doing this. I'm going to bake them for 14 to 16 minutes. I'll see you on the other end. Look at my fudgy crinkle cookies. They just came out of the oven. They're hot, they're huge, and they're very crackled. They're beautiful, and they're very fudgy, so don't eat them when they're hot. You're going to burn yourself. Wait till they cool down, because that's when they actually have a little carryover cooking while they're cooling, and you'll get that fudgy, almost like a brownie cookie texture and structure. They are delicious. This is going to make about 2.5 dozen, depending on how big you make them. They're going to make a lot more if you make them small, but I like them big. So I hope you make these beautiful fudgy crinkle cookies, and I hope you become a subscriber. Until next time.